How do you actually beat Royal Giant matchups with Hog 2.6? I analyzed 3,664 Pro Hog 2.6 battles, and I spent way too long on specifically Royal Giant. There are 6 main things pros are doing to win, starting with their formula for what to do when Royal Giant is placed in the back. It's obviously a scary sight when you see Royal Giant placed behind your opponent's king tower, because you know they're building an insane push. But if you follow these steps, you can actually be perfectly set up to defend it. And these go for a lot of other beatdown decks too, so it's kind of like a bonus. First, you're going to put your Ice Golem behind your king tower on the same side as the Royal Giant. This is kind of perfect because as Royal Giant walks up to your side of the arena, your Ice Golem's also going to be walking up, and it'll actually meet the bridge right around when the Royal Giant arrives. And as we know, Royal Giant players like to play their Hunter, Fisherman, Royal Ghost with the Royal Giant, and your Ice Golem will block those troops, which protects your own defense. But the next thing you want to do is put your Musketeer in the back corner. As we know, if we put our Musketeer behind King Tower, she'll walk up into the middle of your side of the arena, which is where you're going to put your cannon. So if they're together, obviously your opponent can spell them and get a lot of value, because a lot of Royal Giants have Fireball. That is a 7/4/4 elixir trade, and it also cripples your defense. If you put your Musketeer in the back corner, yes, they can Fireball her in the tower, which is usually not great, but Royal Giant decks typically have Barbarian Barrel, not Log or Zap or Arrows, so they can't really kill her if she's far enough back. They can Fireball her, right, but she still exists there defending. Next, you're going to place your cannon in a 4-3 position. This is the maximum pull for a tank like Royal Giant, so it allows your Princess Towers to attack Royal Giant as he walks closer to it, and it's actually okay if your cannon's a little bit early. Yes, it loses its life the longer it sits there, but you can cycle back to your cannon or Musketeer pretty easily from there. And then once you have those set up, you can use your cycle cards to distract the other troops, and your Musketeer and cannon just melt the Royal Giant. Musketeer and cannon are so crucial for defending Royal Giant because it has so much health, so it's so important to stop making this mistake with your Musketeer. When a medium troop like Hunter, Fisherman, Royal Ghost is coming to your side of the arena and you know you'll need something to shoot them, always choose your cannon over your Musketeer. Kind of counterintuitive, right? I would have thought you'd want to save your cannon for the Royal Giant, but a cannon placed in 4-2 or 4-3 position can pull a Royal Giant on either side of the arena. Now, if you had put down your Musketeer, once she's on one side, she's on that side. She'll just keep walking. So if you place your Musketeer on one side, they can throw a Royal Ghost on the other, and one of your main defensive troops is gone. And you're down 4 elixir. Later in the game, when they're putting pressure on, you can cycle your Musketeers in the back more freely. Also, cannon is cheaper, so you can cycle back to it a little easier if you need it. So there are also many other ways to defend those medium troops without your Musketeer or cannon. Pros have found kind of the perfect ways to defend to get a positive elixir trade, so I'm going to go through them for the most common variant, but I also have a guide in the description that covers 4 other common Royal Giant variants. So for Royal Giant, it's obviously not alone very often, but if it ever is, a Musketeer and cannon is enough, and also a cannon plus Log plus Ice Spirit plus Skeleton is normally enough as well. For Barbarian Barrel, you would think because he's kind of small and he doesn't do that much damage, you just want to let it go, but that's actually not the case. If they have the elixir, pros do choose to defend it. They'll use their Skeletons, Ice Spirit, or even their Hog Rider to kite it back up while also applying pressure on their opponent. You only have to defend it, however, if they roll it right at the bridge. Hero Barb Barrel is different, obviously, so you can use your Skeletons or Ice Spirit to pull him over. That way, if he decides to roll again, he'll be farther from your tower. Electro Spirit is a free king activation. You should definitely take that. There are going to be instances throughout the game where you have to let troop go and damage your tower, so having an activated king tower is very important. To activate king, it's a little hard to get down at first, but it becomes very easy after a while. You just place any card in between your Princess Tower and your King Tower. The E-Spirit will chain through and activate king. I would definitely not recommend you do this with your Musketeer, but like kind of any other troop would work. Even Hog, theoretically, though I don't think I've seen that. But yeah, if you let the E-Spirit connect with your Musketeer, your opponent can then Fireball her and kill her. Otherwise, if you have the elixir, you typically do want to defend E-Spirit with a cycle card, just to avoid that chip damage on your tower. Fisherman is very annoying because in big pushes, he can grab the cannon and kill it, which immediately gets a Royal Giant on your tower. But otherwise, alone, he's not too bad. I'll go into how to get past him with your Hog Rider a little later, but basically you just place your Skeletons right after he crosses the bridge, or place an Ice Spirit in the position I'm putting up on the screen, and those will fully counter. Again, you kind of have to get the timing right, but once you practice it, it's pretty easy. For Hunter, you can actually counter him for 1 elixir. If you wait for him to cross the bridge and split your Skeletons around him, he has to then target each skeleton rather rather than killing them all at once, which is a very easy way to counter him. For Royal Ghost, if you place your Ice Golem pretty close to your Princess Tower, that fully counters. Skeletons kind of half counters him if you split them around him. Now, Evo Royal Ghost is a different story. Ice Golem is typically not enough to counter him, and he's so annoying to defend that you actually need to keep track of when it's in cycle, and then don't be super offensive when he's coming, because if they counter push with a Royal Ghost and then Royal Giant on the other side, that's a hard double lane push to defend. Skeletons, we know because we have it, just ignore them pretty much. Even though you can defend most of these troops with just 1 or 2 elixir, sometimes that's too much. If you have a Royal Giant, or God forbid 2 Royal Giants on one side with a supporting troop and then a half health other medium troop coming down the other lane, sometimes you have to let that go, because if you spend the elixir to defend that and save the 500 damage on your tower or whatever it would do, the Royal Giant might just get through. It could lead to your other tower just being completely taken if the Royal Giant makes it through. Pros will oftentimes just let it go. It's painful, but also if you have King Tower activated, as I mentioned, it'll help out with that. Basically, every drop of elixir counts against Royal Giant, which also means pros are not using their Fireball very much. 4 elixir is a lot for only 300 damage on your opponent's tower. I think it's going to be less with the nerf. To actually take your opponent's tower in Royal Giant matchup, which obviously is very important, I've just kind of only talked about defense so far, we see pros sending their Hog Rider with their Ice Golem way more often than in most matchups. That's because Ice Golem is goated against Hunter and Fisherman. For both of those troops, you have to use the Ice Golem push position or whatever, I don't know what it's called, but essentially you're going to put your Hog Rider right behind Ice Golem and it'll push the Ice Golem all the way to the tower. As long as you get the timing and placement right, Fisherman will grab the Ice Golem and bring him to King Tower, not your Hog Rider. And your Hog Rider can just continue to hit their tower. It's kind of amazing too, because both towers are occupied by the Ice Golem, so your Hog can get a lot of damage. For Hunter, kind of same thing. If you push your Ice Golem all the way, the Hunter will shoot and the Ice Golem blocks all of his whatever ammo from hitting the Hog Rider, and then when it explodes, it cools down the Hunter and slows him down. So you get good damage that way as well. So that's how you're gonna win, with pushes that do a lot of damage for only 6 elixir rather than a lot of lone hogs. So those are the 6 main things I'm keeping in mind for Royal Giant matchups. They're all about making sure you have enough elixir for whenever that Royal Giant comes. For more specific advice, especially for the other 4 common variants, go ahead and grab my guide from the description, and thank you so much for watching.